was quick. Hello.
Hello.
Oh my God. Hello, welcome to this Wargamer. I'm Rob, and I'm joined by the Falcon.
Kaka!
And and we're here for round 6 of the Capital City Bloodbath, a competitive event for ITC 40K, 120 players, Canada's largest.
Canada's largest and best and brightest, possibly the greatest in the world, but
Used by Can
maybe
Hammer,
exaggerating.
who make these great hats. I don't mind a bit of swag. I'll sell out for a tiny bit of swag sometimes.
Yeah, I'll sell out for practically anything if you've if you've ever met me, you'll know that.
So we're going to be bringing you the coverage. We're your reporters for the day as we see this final game. So these two players, more than likely, whoever wins this game is going to be the winner of the event. What's exciting is it's the Mr. Jim Vessel himself.
Yes, once again, Mr. Jim the Hammer Vessel has shown up at a top table at a major event, the Capital City Bloodbath.
That's
right.
right.
Practically dominated Jeff Pandorata in the last game after a couple early round misplays. I wouldn't say they were grotesque misplays, but there was just the things that Jim needs to capitalize
Like
on.
a man who goes into the woods and a bear who then dominates him. That's what I saw. That's my Canadian reference. I don't know if that's accurate.
Bears
Like you
are
would at
known
the
to be
hockey.
dominatrixes. It's
At
quite
the
possible.
hockey.
Yeah, at the hockey?
The
Yes.
hockey.
Yes. So the game has started. They've already rolled for deployment and who's going first. As it stands right now, Jim is deploying his entire army, and then we'll get to see Eric do his.
Yes,
his opponent is, in fact, Eric Marcoux, known for being part of Team Canada's ETC 3,
So a big
2, and
lineage.
1.
I'm very excited about this.
Yes.
He's just come back from Serbia.
He has just come back from Serbia.
Yeah, so he's just come back from Serbia, how did Canada do?
Canada went 3-2 and 1, so they won 3, lost 2, had 1 draw. The Europeans seem to think it should be 3-1 and 2. You're wrong. Keep that in mind. But anyway, they did very well. The big thing for them was they won Best Sports, really off the back of Eric, because if you've ever met someone as francophone as Eric is, they are all extraordinarily polite. Not a single one of them has ever been rude in their lives. Period.
Ever.
No, never once.
Ever. Never been grieved.
They are Mr. and Mrs. Congeniality combined.
Yeah, he's a very, very, very nice man.
Yes.
Okay. So as this game goes on, so obviously it's Jim Vessel's list that we saw from before, the Jim Vessel list.
The Jim Vessel.
The Jim Vessel list, and he is up against a knight list as well. If you type in ! Lists, and make sure if you are in the chat or you're watching somewhere, in the Twitch chat as well, that command works. If you do it on Facebook, you just look like a weirdo. But if you do that on Twitch, that'll bring up the list, you'll be able to see, and he's up against a knight list.
Yes.
The Crusaders. He did say, we did find Eric asked, could you just have no terrain on the board? This would make my game a lot easier.
Because as you guys have seen, we've swapped terrain out for every game, and that is why their table is taking an extra few minutes to get started, because we really needed to get proper, excellent terrain once again for you guys to see. So we've got quite the show going on. We have Val Heffelfinger sitting in the sidelines because he does have at least one other extraordinarily important game that we need to talk about, because while it is very probable that the winner of this game does win the whole event, we do have one other undefeated player who has managed to pair down.
And I'm right in thinking it's with a Custodes army, and you're excited.
It is an extraordinarily exciting list. It is a mono Custodes, pure foot, one bike, almost pure foot Custodes list.
Darren, who's running the event, is very excited. Also,
Darren has a massive erection, he's barely standing up.
Also, if you do have an EQ on your speakers somehow, and you turn out anything of the mid or the high, you'll actually be able to hear the Custodes player audibly talk from his table 35 feet away. I'm gonna deep strike.
As mentioned, there are whales out there that are mating because of his such a deep baritone that he manages to pull
He was actually
off.
asked to leave America. He's an American originally, because his deep timber was actually setting off early warning systems in the missile defense system.
Yeah.
You guys don't have that, right? You just have like ducks that protect you.
Yeah, we do. We have geese.
Yeah.
Canadian geese are vicious creatures.
So we're going to go to the tabletop now, and you can start to see the deployment. Here we are. So there you go. You start to see some of the deployment. So Jim's put his army down first. Eric actually chose the side that he wanted to deploy, and you've seen Jim's deployment right here. There you go. So he's got the Demon Prince of Khorne right here, the Night Smasher, if I'm not right.
Yes, that Demon Prince of Khorne, with relatively decent rolls, can take out 2 knights in a single turn if Eric lets him do it. Just being able to fight again, the amount of wounds he puts out is absolutely adorable to anyone that's not a Knights player. You can see here He's trying to zone out and protect himself with that one, I believe it just looks like one unit of Plague Bearers. He would then have his Bloodletters, second unit of Plague Bearers. Oh, no, it's just because we need to move over a little bit to the left here.
I will happily do that. Just
we're doing a little spin.
We're doing it.
So there's your second unit of Plague Bearers right here. So he's got these kind of overlapped, cutting in this way. So all his Plague Bearers are on the board. He does have his... oh, I guess I'm told that is just 30. I just don't know how to count. So yes, Plague Bearers, 30 Plague Bearers in Deep Strike. The Horrors are in Deep Strike, and the Bloodletters are in Deep Strike for Jim Vessel.
Okay, so as we start to see these units deploy on the board, because we're seeing the Knight Army from Eric being deployed right now, you got... yeah, we'll sort that. We'll just go over to Mr. Val Heffelfingers to give some context for what else is happening in the tournament. Then we'll come back, we'll look at the list, we'll see the first play. I know for a fact that Eric's got a seize on, so we'll try and make sure that we catch that if we can. Over to Mr. Val Heffelfinger.
Yes, let's do it.
Hi, everybody. I am Val Heffelfinger. I took a break, wiped the shine off my face because I don't like people seeing me shine. Here we are. Final round, everybody. You got a good setup already about what's happening on our true table number 1. First time it's actually happened all event. Eric versus Jim. We know what's happening there. Down on table 2, we got our last undefeated player pairing down versus Diogo Pita. He's the one flying Air Eldari. Lots of planes, 8 planes, and some very sneaky Venoms to run around for board control purposes. He's, of course, playing Eric, all about that base, no trouble. Truck, who, of course, has the Custodes list that Falcon just ran you down. So really what we're looking at here is with a Jim Vessel win, low scoring, and Eric just smashing it, Mono Custodes could potentially pull it out. Of course, Diogo has no losses on his sheet right now. He only has a draw that he got versus Dustin Henshaw. So, if with a win for him, he's pretty guaranteed a second place spot, because he's very high up in battle points. He's at 156. Jim also sitting on 156. Eric Marcoux, way out in front, 172 points. Pretty much uncatchable with a win, I would think. Just going down the list a little bit, a lot of names that we've been talking about all weekend on the one loss, sort of setting up as, bridesmaids on this podium. Stephen Pamprine. You guys might think I have a crush on him. Not true. I just think he's super handsome, tall, and a former NCAA athlete. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking about him all the time. Of course, we also have Team Tim Ditlifs. Dietlifs, good Lord. He took a hard L in the first round, but he's battled back with 4 wins rattled off. Ridvan, Scary Martinez, with a loss, of course, last round, sitting in 7th. We saw Jason Sparks. Dan, the Danimal Platt, still on 1 loss. And a couple of course, Jeff Pandareta. He's sitting in 12th right now after his loss last round. So there's lots of familiar names and faces as things start straightening out and the rest of the people behind the leading pack start to get ordered properly. I'll make sure to let you know about it. We'll get some of the interesting lists up for interviews, and you can yell about how you don't want to see my face. You just want to see the top table. So why don't we kick it back to the booth, and I'll leave it in their capable hands.
Back. We're so close. There we go. Hello, welcome back. It's Rob and the Falcon bringing you the final game, a very important game. So you saw while Val was giving us the feedback, you saw Eric try to seize and failing.
He did. Jim was, if you couldn't see, closing his eyes. He had both hands over. He was terrified. As soon as Eric rolled and failed, there was a lot of screaming, and then Jim flipped the hat backwards. In case you don't know, that is the general Sly Stallone symbol that the game is on, and that Eric is practically
we
effed.
are ready to rock. Let's go to a quick top down right here so we can get the minutiae of the game.
Yes.
And we'll talk about where we think movement's happening, and then we'll go to the nicer, fancier cams at some moment.
Perfect. There we go.
There
so
we go.
Let's talk a little bit about how the deployment went. So as we saw before we cut to Val, Plague Bearers all along here making their nice little line of protection.
In case of the seas, right?
In case of the seas. Within this ruin here, we had a Poxbringer, Ahriman, I believe it was, and then a unit of Brimstones.
And 2 units of Nurglings.
And a single unit of Nurglings.
A single unit
Yes.
of Nurglings, okay.
In the top right-hand corner, Eric deployed. He has 1 unit of Talarn infantry in there, along with his 2 basilisks that he's going to be raining hell down upon his opponents with. He's got his 3 Crashed Crusader Knights directly in the middle. In here, he's got, I believe it's 6 mortars, along with another infantry squad. He did put a Calidus into Deep Strike, and he is outflanking another one of his infantry squads due to Talarn.
And also a tank commander.
And, yes, a tank commander.
Is
what
also,
I understand. Is that correct?
No.
No, I don't even believe he has a tank commander in
No,
this
he
list.
has. There was something else deep striking.
Yes, I believe it was just the Calidus and 1 unit of infantry for Eric.
With
a
a company commander.
Yes.
I mean, almost as good as a tank commander.
Well, what's excellent about what's the big about that is it's going to be able to claim objectives really quickly if it needs to once he outflanks with that dagger, because the Talarn will be able to move in advance, do all sorts of shenanigans, be able to grab these side objectives if he really needs to, or come in for some sneaky plays if Jim leaves anything in his backfield unprotected.
Absolutely. Now, Eric obviously has got, like, if we're talking about the units that we see that are going to impact the game here, you've got to talk about these 3 knights, right?
Yes.
You just have to.
That is the army.
That is the army in all and effect. A little bit of support from the Basilisk, but effectively there. And so surely what we're going to see is something fairly similar to the game before, where we're going to see some Plague Bearer screens being held up to hold up the units before the mortal wounds and output, and specifically this fella, this Khorne Demon Prince,
Yes.
who is going to murder through a couple of those knights, if I'm not mistaken. That's how I see the game going, but that might not necessarily be true. What are your thoughts?
No, I think you're 100% correct. I think what we're going to see here is Jim's going to try to buff up these Plague Bears, make them practically unkillable, and hope that he can take the damage from here. He's already miasmaed the unit, so now they're going to be at a -2 to be shot by these big boys.
So that's going to reduce their output, because obviously the stompy feet and the shots.
Exactly. And then he's also gone a second mile, and he's put an additional -1 to hit on this knight here, I believe it is, who is Eric's warlord.
Wow, okay. So the loadout that we've got on the Imperial Knights as we see them.
Yes. So this guy here, he is a Crash Crusader with a rocket pod up top. That is the main warlord. He has reroll 1s to hit, and he gets on a 6 as he explodes in close combat, or I believe in shooting as well.
And he has any relics?
I believe that's basically his full kit out, what I just described.
Perfect.
So this guy is going to be hitting on 5s against Jim. Actually, I believe 6s, because he'll be -3 if he tries to target these Nurgle boys. So that's pretty big.
Wow. Plague Bearers are so resilient at this stage, with obviously with the psychic powers and the CP, which is exactly what Jim's been doing in the last game. He's just using that as a wall to defend and then hitting over the top. It's a mobile castle. FYI, my favorite way to play any Warhammer game.
Yes, I agree.
Mobile castles, very, very good. And also in You Go, I Go, particularly useful, because you don't have to worry about a multi-layer of screen. What am I talking about? And you can go twice. Never mind. We'll talk about this game.
And Fire Drake, as far as I understand it, what he did was he applied a miasma on the Nurgle unit. He put the regular Nurgle bonus of having more than 20 models, so he gets an additional -1 just from that. And I believe he used a Slanesh power to reduce the hit on one of the knights.
Okay, all right. So, So let's talk about Eric, because obviously we talked about Jim. What do you think Eric's opportunity and chance are? How's he going to try and play this game to go through? Do you think he's going to sit off? Do you think he's actually going to commit? Really? Off screen and also off the board to deploy, Jim has got a
lot of models.
He has a lot of models. So he's got Pink Horrors, he's got Bloodletters, he's got another unit of 30 Plague Bearers. So he's got potentially a lot of deep striking board control available as of turn 2. Do you think he's going to take advantage? He's obviously going to take advantage of that, but what do you think Eric's going to do to try to reduce that?
So the big thing for Eric here is his list can kill a lot of models. So Jim's going to have to play KG. That's why he's putting a lot of stuff into Deep Strike. At ETC, one of the matches Eric played against, he played against 280 Plague Bears, and he did kill all of them with essentially this list. So it does have the damage output. He has to play extraordinarily aggressive with those Crusaders, though. They can't just shoot. They have to go up.
Shoot and fight. So you're using both of the profiles at the same time to double down. Okay, so you should expect these to be very aggressive and move towards. Interesting, though, because inside this building, you can't see it particularly well. Even if we use any of the fancy cameras, it's literally hidden from all sight. Is a bunch of characters. You've also got a Tzeentch Demon Prince here. So there's a lot of smites that can come through here and start to do work.
We just saw that happen. I'm told that between the characters that are here, he managed to put 12 mortal wounds on these 2 knights already.
Wow!
From smites, he rolled pretty hot and heavy. Got a couple of the big smites, the big 11 and 12s, and did manage to put a number of wounds on those knights already. So that's pretty big. It gives him a Titan Slayer point to start his turn.
Yeah, and at some point as we go through the game, we will talk about the secondaries. But as you can see here, just on the overlay, Jim has chosen Recon, Titan Slayer, and King Slayers. That makes Recon especially makes sense because he's got a lot of units in Deep Strike he's going to go through. Also, he's got huge volumes of board control, which Eric just doesn't have.
Yes.
And then Titan Slayer and King Slayer. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, 3 knights. If he does the damage he needs to do,
we will talk about that in detail. But we're already into Eric's turn 1. Sorry. And you called it.
Yeah, he's playing super aggressive. The first thing he did, as soon as Jim passed over the position, he measured it out to see if he was able to get in charge range of those Plague Bears and try to wipe them out.
So he's going to go for it. He's going to go for the triple charge. And what do you think he's going to try and shoot over the top? That's my question. John, can you just get us my camera, please, and we'll look at it in a bit of a nicer light, realistically. What do you think? Is Plague Bear is this turn? Do you think he's going to shoot over top at anything?
No, I believe what his plan is going to be is to shoot as much as he can into Plague Bears, try and remove some of that screen, and if possible, if he clears out enough, because he does have a ton of shooting here, as long as he clears out enough, he's going to hit these characters. That's his goal.
That's his goal.
He's going to try to hit these guys right here, and that will be a crippling maneuver.
Do you think so? Because right here, I feel it's not. I feel that right here, this Demon Prince is just going to come in.
For sure. And just like someone said in chat, Eric really will need that Khorne Demon Prince to whiff. That's really it. Because that's going to be the counter.
Yeah, I mean, whiff both times that he can strike.
Exactly.
Okay, so I love the idea of a Khorne Demon Prince. By the way, that Khorne Demon Prince is gorgeous. I'm going to go get you a shot now so you can go see. He's an utter beauty. So he's there ready, sneakily ready to just go and murder these guys. I feel this is the game in this motion.
For sure.
Do you think that the Plague Bearers have to go? And if he doesn't kill them all, do you think he's going to inspire and presence, like he's going to spend the 2 CP and just keep them up?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Jim. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, he does have that second unit that he can easily deep strike for protection again.
Okay, everyone watching at home, let us know who you're rooting for. Also, let us know which army you're rooting for. And if you're not rooting for anyone, just let us know how you're doing.
Yep.
I'm excited. Thanks for joining us.
So Jim has just spoken up. He's deciding not to Warp Surge the Plague Bearers. So they're not going to have a 4-up invuln. He wants to save the CP because he's scared of the Calidus removing too many. He's already spent a good amount at the beginning of the game, and the Calidus has already had a bit of an effect on that. He's down to 5 CP to start.
So this is the assassin.
This is the assassin, because the Calidus assassin, in case you do not know, every time your opponent spends CP in the first turn of the game, on a 4+, you spend an extra CP. So it can really change the math and what you have planned for later in the game.
Wow.
So it's really big. It's really powerful, especially against lists like Jim's that can use a ton of very cheap stratagems early. And so Jim's playing at KG there. He doesn't want to lose too many. I think he thinks that with the minuses to hit that he's got, he also has the Forbidden Gen, which he can pop once per game to make one of these knights just do nothing during a phase.
Oh my god.
And that's super huge here.
It is going to be huge. It's good, but like you said, I think the Calidus is like a fucking solid choice. Realistically, down to 5 CP already. I don't think he's going to be able to do everything he wants to do with the stratagems.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on what he can steal later, because he does have the ability to steal CP when Eric uses some, and he may be able to get a little bit back. We'll have to see how that plays out.
It'll be interesting if Eric just holds off using his CP just to make sure that he can't feed Jim. That's very interesting. And we talked about it last game as well, and we've been talking about all weekend. So CP management and generation, but also theft. now that huge impact in this final game. We talked about it a little bit before. We talked about conservation,
For sure.
but now we're talking about you're literally stealing the rug from underneath them. That's an English term. I don't know if you guys have that.
We do. I mean, you guys ruled over us for a little over 150 years, so we kind of got a feeling for how that all plays out.
Listen, England. The issue with the rugs we have in England is just they're just always being stolen from underneath us. The rug thieves in England are running wild.
That's quite possible. Yes.
Yeah.
Rug thieves and chimney sweeps.
So we let you know what damage is happening to those plague bearers.
So apparently Jim is rolling very hot on his Feel No Pains. We're gonna get a total here from the table boss once all the shooting is done.
So -2 to hit. So these guys are -2 to hit. This is -3 to hit.
Yes,
on
but
those plague
I
bearers.
believe he's able to reduce it down to a -1 due to a stratagem. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out here. I'm really interested to see, because this is big. Depending on how many of these plague bearers are removed, depending on if Jim has to use that forbidden gem early, there's a lot that rides on this.
What I really
first
like
gem.
about Eric as well is he just he knew the game, right? Like he's
Yeah.
like I get what we got to do. Let's go do the thing, right? It's interesting. I wonder maybe. And this is not in any way to question Eric, who I think is probably way better at 40k than me. I wonder if he wouldn't want to have stood off for a time to shoot, because he doesn't have to get through 240 plague bearers. He's just got to get through the
30 and then another 30.
30 and then another 30. And that other 30 is going to come down now. But, I'm interested in whether or not he had to commit, because he's left the Demon Prince as a threat. Or he's given the Demon Prince an opportunity to do the work.
Hey Ray, just so you know, yes, the house is housecraft, as is normally the case. I know it's not always the case, but they are the favorite these days.
Yes. Why? How come? What do you know? Why? Why? Like what?
Well,
do you
Housecraft has a lot of play against other vehicles and other knights. The ability to get +1 damage on other vehicles, and is just huge. Plus, the reroll hits in close combat is actually very powerful here. If these knights do get into close combat, they'll be able to reroll hits. It's pretty strong. He can do a lot of damage to these plague bearers in close combat. That's why he's being so aggressive. Because he needs to clear all these screens right away. The only problem is, of course, that Khorne Demon Prince can do so much damage once it comes in.
Yeah, it's there's a volume of damage coming in, so he's waiting for the shooting to be resolved into the plague bearers. I'm assuming all of the shots are going into the plague bearers.
Oh yeah, I believe they have to, just because of the psychic abilities that Jim's going to use. So right now it looks like we're going into the basilisk shooting. The knights have already done. Table boss, can you tell me exactly how many plague bearers were lost to the knight shooting?
Just seeing.
Looks like 7 have been removed.
So just there you go, seeing it from the alternate view, seeing it from the knight player side, you can really see what that looks like. You can't see the absolutely imposing threat of that Khorne Demon Prince
still
right
just
there.
hanging out.
He's just ready to pounce any moment, and he can do for at least one of those knights, I think.
Yes.
But
for
Firedrake
sure.
in the chat reckons he's going to lose 2.
And you know what? If Jim rolls decently well, I wouldn't even have to say rolls extremely well. Yes, he does, in fact, lose 2 knights just to smites and to the Khorne Demon Prince. It's quite possible.
Which is, that's 2/3 effectively of the army.
So we see here, these are the models that Jim are pulling up right now. It looks like he's picked up about 8 of the plague bearers, maybe 9. And that's from all of the shooting from these knights, and we're already moved into the basilisks in the back.
Oh, the basilisk. Wait,
And
they've done their shooting too?
The basilisks, I believe, just finished their shooting. He's now measuring out the one. I think he's measuring out the second basilisk, and then he still has the mortars to go as well.
So there's a lot of shots that can punch through that screen, which is what he's looking to do. You've also got the contorted epitome here, and I'll go show you. We'll zoom in. You've got the contorted epitome here and the Tzeentch Demon Prince. And the Demon Princes and the epitome, no slouch really.
No slouch whatsoever. That epitome can do a ton of damage. Not really meant to kill knights, but it can put out some wounds.
Am I right in thinking the Khorne Demon Prince can do a heroic intervention at 6 inches, or still only 3?
You know what, chat? If you can answer that question for me, I don't remember off of the top.
My
of my
only
head.
question for that is because this is a gap, and I wonder.
I mean, it's quite possible.
I wonder if he wants to get an extra round of combat in his opponent's turn.
It is only 3. So thank you for that.
so much. Thank you so much. So the
So-
boys have gone in. There you go. The knights have charged.
All 3 knights have gone into combat. He has specifically said, by intent, he wants to stay 3 inches away from the epitome to avoid heroic intervention.
Oh, good.
And Jim
There you go.
is saying, sure thing, buddy. That's fine. So now they're just going to be.
We're into the combat phase. So let us know what you think is going to happen in the chat if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Also, you can see we're currently in Eric's turn. You can see he's chosen as his secondaries the Reaper, Engineers, and Kingslayer. So those are the secondary choices he's got. Hasn't yet killed a unit this turn, but also neither did Jim in his turn.
No, and I think that's a big deal. I shouldn't say it's a big deal. Jim is definitely played that knowing he wasn't going to kill a unit that first turn. All of his damage is going to come out turn 2, turn 3.
It's a counterattack army. I've seen it play twice now. That's all it is. It's a counterattack army, and I mean an amazing one. It's got a lot of tools in behind that Plague Bearer wall, but and we saw a similar version with the Death Guard list we saw earlier, but that's what it does. It wants you to hit it in a game where people want to go hit things.
Yes. So Eric did spend a CP so that his knights have exploding 6s across the board in close combat.
Gammy, thank you for listening all the way over in Australia. You're right. It will so come down to the priority roll, which is not in this game.
So the first knight has gone. He killed 6 Plague Bears, but Jim actually made 4 of the Feel No Pains.
Wow.
So once again, only 2 models removed on that first set of attacks by the knights. Eric's now moving in for his second.
Yeah, you're right. The guys in the chat working out whether or not they think that the knights are just going to go down all 3 in the next turn. I think that's quite brave. But over here, in this building, is a collection of characters as well to come and do some work, which I think is interesting.
I believe these ones, they're not super combat-y, the ones that he's hidden in the back here, but they do have some smites they can put off.
You also, the other thing I was going to, they're not super combat-y, but the smites are going to be a big deal against knights, right? Like,
sure.
It's just easy output. The thing I was going to say is there's a lot of board space and a lot of board control being given up by the knight army.
Yes.
And Jim obviously chose to go first so he could extend into that board. And I think that he's done that so that when he brings in all his deep strikers later, so not only is everything you're seeing right now what Jim can bring to bear in his next turn, he's also going to put a bunch more stuff on the board next turn to bring to bear as well.
Yes.
You're talking 20 Bloodletters, Pink Horrors, and another unit of Plague Bearers. So if they really wanted to, I don't think they're going to, but this part of the army could even do a fallback and then let the Plague Bearers come in for another defensive line.
They definitely could. I mean, Jim played it right. He talked a lot about how he's normally a go second army, but in this case he needed to get those debuffs off the knights, and the knights are done fighting with shooting and close combat. Only 12 Plague Bearers killed. He still has 18 left in that
That's
unit.
incredible. How many points went into them? A lot.
Yeah, it's 3 full Crass Crusaders, one of which I believe has taken 4 wounds, the other 8. So he's already a little weakened. Like Ray has been saying in chat, he believes it'll be 2, if not 3 knights killed just because of the wounds they've already taken. It's hard to say if that is the case. I mean, of course, that'll be a really quick.
I'm hyped to find out, though. I'm hyped. I'm really happy Eric just womped in and was like, look, let's get it done. And look, Jim's straight in there on his turn. Yeah, so it's Jim's turn now, so he's active. We'll get the score, if any was scored, by Eric in that turn.
We're just about to get a new sheet here to see how that turn 1 ended. We'll get that to guys momentarily. Our table boss is just doing some counting up while Jim starts his movement. So as you can see, the Khorne Demon Prince is getting a little...
It's getting a little frisky.
It's getting a little frisky, coming up this way. Left himself a little bit of room so he can possibly get in here to tag him, or go this way if he needs to. The Plague Bearers have moved up to tag this to get a little closer and friendly.
This isn't Jim's turn yet. Sorry, this is him. This is him attacking back, right? Striking back?
Yes, this is just him
this
fighting
is him
back.
striking back, so that's my bad call. Apologies.
That's
Apologies, everyone. So yeah, he's striking back there, and that's why he's doing all the piling in with these Plague Bearers here, because we haven't yet had the leadership check. Because the question in the chat, which is a great one, is he going to roll it out? And obviously he's got Sloppity Bar Pipe. I reckon he's here and tied in, so he can roll 2 dice looking for a 1. Or is he going to spend the 2 CP, which he probably doesn't want to do?
No.
He's going to want to use those to generate.
So he chose to roll. He wanted to save his CP.
He chose to roll.
He chose to roll, hoping for the 1. He rolled a 2. So with the 12, he rolled a 14. He loses, I believe, another 7 models. So he still does have 11 remaining in the unit. But he chose to take the chance, because on the 1, it's absolutely brutally effective against Eric there. Still, I don't think it was the wrong decision. Like we said earlier, he's trying to save his CP to either force Eric to use CP, because the thing about the Calidus is it can continue to do that for 2 CP per turn to try and steal more CP away from the opponent. It's just whether Eric is willing to spend those CP to do so.
Do you think he will? I mean, he's got a wealth at this stage.
Well, here's the thing: he does have a wealth, but he's about to take potentially a gigantic beating on those 3 knights.
Yeah.
An absolute gigantic one.
Yeah, I think So we're just getting some scores for that turn, and then we're going into Jim's turn and find out exactly what his counterattack is going to be.
So at the end of turn 1, we do get the points. It does look like Jim scored just 1 for hold. Eric scored hold and hold more. Neither of them got a kill. And then Jim did score 1 point for Titan Slayer. So it's right now 2-2 at the end of turn 1.
This, by the way, exactly what the best 40k player in the world right now in the ITC looks like. A gallant man, a gentleman. There he is. That's Mr. Jim Vessel himself, making no qualms about he's straight in. He's absolutely fearless. Doesn't care what he's got to do. He is just on it. VJ Ray, if you type in !lists, you'll be able to see the list and read it all to your heart's desire. Oh, no, the relics won't be on the list. You are correct. We talked about it at the top. I'll try and bring it to you again later.
Yes. So the relics on the knights, if you were asking, one of the knights has a 2+ armor save, and the warlord is rerolling ones to hit and explode, and has exploding 6s.
Here we go.
And so this one right here is the one that has a 2+ armor save, and I believe it is this one here. If we can cut to this other knight just to double check. I don't want to lie to you folks.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Okay. So yes, this is your warlord. This is your 2+ armor. This guy, Eric, was like, "F you. You're not important to me." He has absolutely nothing.
No
special.
relics. He's just going in his pants and his trousers, and he's ready to rock it.
For sure.
Look, Jim's taking some time to decide what he's doing. That's interesting.
We will say, Jim, I don't believe has used the gem yet. He held on to it. He believed correctly that he wasn't going to take as much damage as Eric thought he would. Because Jim, rolled super duper hot. So we'll wait and see for sure. Of course, that's not something our table boss can ask. He didn't hear anybody mention it, and there was no dejected look on Eric's face other than from all those massive feel no pains that Jim was able to pull off. So it's probably likely that the gem was not pulled.
I don't think it was used yet.
No.
I think he's going to use it now. And I think he's going to swamp the board with models is what I think he's going to do.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to engage. But what I think he's not going to do is he's going to give up a lot of those characters. I think he's going to smite. He's going to protect the other demon princes, the other characters, send in the Khorne demon prince, bring down the other units, and just absolutely control the board.
Yes.
I think he'll also try to get a charge off on the top on that basilisk and lock him up.
Potentially, it depends on how aggressive he wants to get. One thing Eric did do was he tried to keep his characters back. I mean, other than the 3 knights, obviously, because he's trying to. Because he's just trying to avoid giving Jim any free points. He wants to make him work for it. So that's why that one company, on top of the free movement, that one company commander is in deep strike, and he's got his other one hiding in the back there with the basilisks, I believe.
So there we go. The contorted epitome is falling back and leaving some space. And also, as you can see, there is a Tzeentch Demon Prince. There are 2 on the field. This army, by the way, is absolutely stunning. There you go. And the Khorne Demon Prince is, I think the words are, he's in. He's ready to be in.
He's brought it back. This is movement. He hasn't done the charge yet. Remember that Khorne Demon Prince can move 12 inches, so he's moving them all in.
He's bringing them all in, so he's going to try and deal with this. An explode here is going to be disastrous.
It could be. So I believe his plan is to try and smite down the one that's already injured as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then do the charge, because Eric will do everything he can to make that knight explode 100%.
That would be a big win, but then realistically, it would be as big loss to Jim as it would be to Eric. But I think Eric losing 2 knights in this situation is going to be both of whom are his characters and having his relics, and that's not to laugh or deride our man at the top here. But he, just in his pants, still a devastating model, super useful. But he'd be up against a large portion of the army.
So Jim is now bringing in his reserve. He's bringing in his 30 plague bearers. By the looks of things, he's just debating where he wants to place them.
So there we go. We'll try and get you the top. We'll get you the top down now, so you can see what the
mind horrors are coming down.
So you can see what the whole board looks like here.
So once we get those horrors down, I'll show you. Yeah, so he's going to place them generally in this area. He does have line of sight to an infantry squad in this general area, so he's going to try to wipe them out to give him free reign on these on the basilisks. But if I had to guess,
I think he's just going to engage the whole army. He's just going to go all the way in. He's going to keep some characters safe because if these 2 knights are dead, the counterattack just isn't strong enough to change the course of the game.
I take that back. Guaranteed, what he's going to do is try to shoot as much damage onto this basilisk as he can with the horrors, and then charge the unit in the front with the rest.
He's just going to bring this. Now, don't forget also that while Jim is deep striking now, Eric still has a company commander in reserve. And
a unit of and an infantry squad, as well as that Calidus assassin. And I mean, a Calidus is no slouch in close combat. I mean,
but it's not going to change the course of the game.
It's not going to pop through 20 some odd pink horrors or bloodletters, but I mean, kills 6 or 7 generally with ease. It's just a matter of like you said. That's not why it's there. That's not how it's going to counter this combat.
I tell you what, I want to get full sportscaster hype about this Demon Prince charge. Like I'm into it.
Well, I want to hear you do it because as you know, I'm about as dull as a
no,
sack
you
of
are
potatoes.
not. Your intonation is perfect,
Well,
but I don't want to do an oh my god. But I may have to. Might have to go full Jerry Lawler on this as a Demon Prince buries an axe right into the skull plate of a knight. I love watching knights die. Love it. A big. Do you know the lore of Imperial Knights? Effectively, space tractors.
Yeah, space tractors.
Space tractors. And space tractors are dominating the war zones of the entire Warhammer 40,000 competitive scene ATM. At least going 4-on-1s.
Yep, and here we go. Jim has now dropped the Plague Bearers. He is putting them in as some backline support by the looks of things in this general area.
Called it.
Yeah, you did 100%.
Called it, but he didn't do what I thought he would do the Demon Princes. Instead, he's gone, I think the technical term, to quote my friend Tom Layton, ham.
Yeah, he's going, as they would say, balls deep.
All the way.
Yeah.
All the way, which is a weird
This
phrase.
is a porno.
I don't know if you've ever tried that, but it's so hard to do.
The contorted epitome's in there.
Wait, where the balls deep is.
This is why. Yes, I mean that's the reason it's happening.
Can the contorted epitome do enough damage in here as well, or is it just just load everything in?
I think you're looking at somebody that is trying to guarantee damage, because I've watched a number of Jim's stream games, and there's been many times where he has gone in with that Khorne Demon Prince and it's whiffed, just like we've said before. And when it whiffs, it's bad.
Very bad. Jim Vessel here is looking to win the event. Won loads of majors this year. Currently the best.
Currently number 1 for a reason, and this would just pile on to his victories.
And that's what I really like about his list is the utility and also like the adaptability. It's playing so differently now to how it played the turn before. The game before that we've obviously covered on the live stream, which is really fun, and also just absolutely. And Jim knows this, right? He's turned up to an event where there are a huge volume of knights at this event anyway. But generally, as you can find out on the 40kstats.com, you'll see that there are knights all over the competitive ITC scene.
Oh, and we're seeing Jim drop the bloodletters as well. So can we get a...
Sure, I'll show you where they are. They're going all the way up there at the back, at the mortars. And I think I called it there. I think he's just going to engage everywhere the whole way.
Yes.
And don't forget those bloodletters have got the banner of blood, so they're going to be charging on 3d6. So those mortars are taking a kicking, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. If he makes this charge, which, I mean, it's a 3d6 on 8 inches, highly likely. Yeah, those mortars get to be the super dead. Probably the little infantry squad that's hiding along this little wall, also super dead.
Interesting fact, that is actually a unit of 20 bloodletters. Now, Jim had a bit of an issue in last game where he thought 5 of his bloodletters had got lost. What had actually happened is he's just been playing with 15 for the whole tournament because it's all he's needed.
Yeah, well, is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
They were in his case.
Yeah, so that's excellent. I'm really glad. Jim was super terrified that someone had stolen 5 of his bloodletters. In fact, he's just been playing with a handicap this whole time.
And let me zoom in and show you as to why. Jim Vessel's army is absolutely stonkingly gorgeous. Look at that. There you go. Normally, you see these fellas sprayed red, dry brushed a bit, but that is not the army that you're looking at there. You're looking at a group of gorgeous, murderous bloodletters.
Oh, 100%.
Although do mortars contain a lot of blood? That's an interesting question.
I wonder. Well, the guys around them definitely do. They're just essentially meat sacks. We are moving over to the psychic phase. We're just going to see what he's doing here.
Oh, I'm actually very excited by this. Getting heart palpitations because of it. And I'm wondering whether or not we're going to see a knight go down just from this alone.
It's quite possible. So he's going with his buffs and debuffs. First, he's cast Miasma on the new unit of Plague Bearers, the one that is at full strength.
So this is the unit at the back here.
Yes, and
his
he's put-
defensive backline at this stage.
And he's put Flickering Flame on the Horrors here, so now they're going to get a +1 to wound, so they'll be effectively, if the Changecaster's nearby, wounding that infantry squad on 2s.
Okay. So do you think he's going to do for that and then charge the Basilisk? Is that the plan?
It's hard to say. It's either that or he shoots the Basilisk, and now he's going to be wounding it on 4s, and then charge the unit. Both, I think, are fine options.
I think he's going to go for the Basilisk and lock it in, because it just reduces what he's going to do. Yeah,
Now, he
effectively.
has failed a Smite just now onto the Warlord, and I believe he...
So yeah, smites going into the Warlords. There's a variety of smites here. There's at
Plus
least
the targeted smites that A Thousand Suns can do. So after he failed that smite, Eric has chosen to put the psychic defense that knights can take. I believe it's a 4+ feel no pain against smites.
Yes, it is.
On his other knight to try and protect it a little better. So we'll see what happens here.
So he spent some CP. So he's down some CP now from Eric. We'll find out the volume of that.
And yes, Lonely Sandbar, you're 100% correct. He's been playing with 15 for a very long time. He only switched to 20 in the last, say, 2 tournaments. Quite possible, just brain fart, grabbed his old list, but with a contorted epitome and went with it.
Very, very likely, especially when you play as much as he plays.
So Jim did perils on his latest smite, and he's going to be rolling D6 on the damage this time instead of the D3.
Oh, on which unit? Who's cast it?
Oh, sorry, it's the Zinch's Firestorm, not smite. So he's going to roll 9 dice. Any 6s cause mortal wounds.
Okay, so I think he just did 3 mortal wounds there into those knights.
So this knight is now down to 3 wounds remaining from the smites and targeteds.
Wow. Okay. So a few more saves there. Like no, I'm not calling dice. That's not what we're doing. That's not good. So that I think that knight's going. Are we going to see it explode?
Oh, we're gonna roll for an explosion. A knight has been killed from
Is
all
he
of the
spinning?
smites.
So it blows up.
Yeah. So he spent a command point to make it explode.
Oh, this is big.
To not make it explode, but make it easier.
I wonder how big it's going to be. So it's going to be 2d6 range, and there is a lot of characters here.
For sure.
But none of them are going to die to one single d6 mortal wound roll.
No, but I mean it'll hurt a lot.
Agreed. Yeah. So this is.
So it does explode by the looks of things. That looks like a 5 on the roll.
Oh, he started roll a 1. So
we're
he's
going to see how many damage he does. He does 1 to 1. That looks like.
So we'll get that from the table boss as they come through.
We'll find out exactly how much damage was done here momentarily. Sorry, folks, I stepped away from the mic like a moron.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll get you a tally as it happens, but it's quite exciting. But none of them can die yet. But it does mean that the next charge and killing the next knight could be very, very risky, because that's another set of d6 mortal wounds that potentially are being taken. So 2d6. But then, what does he care? If he deals with 2 of the knights, clears the mortar squad, locks up the basilisk, it's almost game.
Okay, so that explosion was quite huge. The turquoise Demon Prince here is down to 5 wounds remaining. This guy's down to 7. And the Corn Demon Prince is now down to 4 wounds from that explosion. So really, really big rolls for Eric there. The contorted epitome apparently took nothing, so luckily it was too far away so he managed to avoid it. But all 3 Demon Princes have been pretty severely wounded by that, but I think it's worth it. I think it's a worthy exchange to take out almost 500 points of your opponent's list.
I think it's not bad at all. And Dionysus says in the chat, no risk with the gem. Is the gem going to be able to stop him exploding?
I'm not quite sure if the gem can stop an explosion. That's a really, really good question.
It'd be very interesting to see if that's the case.
Because I believe it just stops what it's capable of in a phase. I'm not sure if that includes explosions.
Interesting. If anyone's got any thoughts in the chat, please let us know. I'd be interested to hear that. When you get down to that very techie minutiae.
And yes, you are correct. The contorted epitome does have a 2+ more invulnerable save against mortals. So even if it was within range, which I'm not sure.
TFG Radio, thanks very much. The explosion is an ability, so you turn off any ability.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, so he technically could have used it for that, but I mean,
no, but you could use it on the next night.
Yes, if he feels it's necessary.
Because you can turn off that night in combat.
And then for Overwatch, yes.
Or for Overwatch, or just you turn it off in combat, which will turn off his ability to strike back, and also if he does explode, we'll negate that as well.
So can we cut over here? Look, the horrors have been shooting. They did remove the Imperial Guard.
Yes, absolutely, which I think is the call. I'm sure we're going to see a charge into a basilisk. So the Imperial Guard unit were here. They've shot there. I reckon we're going to get a charge into the basilisk.
I would not be surprised. Yep.
So I think that's going to be pretty important. Looks like Jim's making fairly quick work of Eric's army. But but it is ITC, so it's all about the points on the board. Currently 2-2,
Yes.
with all the secondaries to happen. Kingslayer, Titan Slayer, and Recon for Jim.
So it does look. I think the Jim's thoughts here is he's going to, when he charges, he's actually going to also declare the Knight with the Horrors to soak the Overwatch, because if they make that charge, that's much better for him, because then these Demon Princes can just get in with no problem.
Yes, it's very exciting, and obviously,
And it
also,
looks like that's exactly what he did.
what's he done?
It sounds like he charged both the Basilisk and the Knight. In Overwatch, he lost a Horror, so he's getting to place a Brimstone. We're just going to wait to see exactly where he places it. But my guess is it'll be somewhere around here, so he makes that a 7-inch charge into the Knight.
Stop the Overwatch on the Demon
Stop the
Princes.
Overwatch, and then the Demon Princes can
That's
come in.
some good play. That is just some absolutely great play.
We'll
So
see if
just-
that's exactly how it plays out, but that
So
seems
if he
to be
does
the
that and he
the
locks them
concept
up,
here.
because he's doing Overwatch now, because the battle cannon's still firing.
I believe
we just
so.
heard. So if he does make the charge, wow, that's great. I really like that personally.
Yeah, it's a really excellent play here. We're just going to wait and see exactly how it ends up.
Yes, we've heard that. Isn't that called Fire Drake says I called it. He's like, I'm all about this. It's going to be done and done, he reckons.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Twitch chat, let us know what you think. If you think that's the case. Eric must have known that this was going to be the reaction. Or do you think he's already won 5 games at this tournament. He's in the Canadian ETC team. He's no slouch when it
He's
comes to 40K.
definitely no slouch. But this is a hard matchup for him because Jim plays Knights all the time.
And he's spec to play Knights, right?
Yes.
Like, he knows he's at an
Yes,
event
he knows
ready
how
to do it.
this. So the Horrors rolled an 8 on their charge, and with the help of that extra spawned Brimstone that he popped right here, he is able to get into the Knight. And we'll see if he manages, based off of consolidations and pylons, to tag the Basilisk as well, which looks like he's going to try to do.
Wowee. And then once with the Basilisk tagged, that shut down almost all the output that Eric's going to be able to bring to bear in the
Correct.
next
And
turn.
I believe you are correct, Lonely Sandbar, that it is a blue Horror, but
Yeah, it would be a blue horror. Pinks to blues, blues to brims, brims to fresh air.
yeah, and
That's right.
And he really needed that Brimstone to that one of those models to die in Overwatch. Luckily, it did happen.
There he is. We've
because
been bigging him up.
that 8 was not important. Oh,
the
it was too
the
important.
gangster is in.
There
That
he is, he made the
corn demon
charge.
prince is going to do some
2-inch
murder
charge.
bot. A 2-inch charge.
Yeah.
So
Oh, sorry. According to Max, we didn't hype it up enough. Oh my god!
Oh my god! He wants me to go. The reason being quiet is we're quite close to the table. I'm going to call it. The demon prince is in. It's outrageous. Can an Imperial Knight survive a giant axe sent from the realm of Khorne itself to cleave metal armor in two?
No. Well, I mean, we Max really liked that. So we also have another demon prince that's gone in. I believe the contorted epitome may or may not. Jim's just deciding if he thinks it's overkill.
What I enjoy about this is that Imperial Knight has suffered the wrath of at least all of the Chaos Gods. Khorne is in. Tzeentch is in. The Plague Bearers were in. And also so we've got Nurgle and then Slanesh, the Contorted Epitome, is in.
Yeah.
They've all
They've all
decided,
shown up to the party.
They've all shown up. This is the age of chaos.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all there. This is
Some would say that Jim is the new Abaddon. He's the new chosen one.
Yeah,
Right? He is chaos undivided.
the Epitome did fall back. Thanks very much.
Yes, the Epitome did fall back.
Unfortunately, Slanesh isn't involved.
Slanesh was like, "No, you know what? You guys got this. I gotta go fuck."
So here we go.
And we see the bloodletters. If we want to pop up to the top here real quick, Rob. I know you have super control. So he 3d6. He rolled a 14. So really, those bloodletters are going to go wherever
Again,
the
he's
f
just
they want.
absolutely smashed that charge roll for a second time. Look at that, crushing it. So the mortars are out, and oh no. So, but while we wait for the combats to resolve, as well as those charges, there's still a knight over here to deal with.
Yeah, there
There's
is.
still a knight to deal with.
Eric is not without some kind of tricks. This is really intense. Oh, the new Plague Bearers actually charged as well. I'm not sure what they charged.
Into the knight.
Oh, into the Knight. And he did have one within 9, so he did manage to make that roll. So he's using this to protect his characters.
Yes.
So that once this Knight dies, he'll be able to at least block off this guy and this guy as well.
Specifically from that knight. Yeah.
Yeah, from the other Knight, yes.
Wow. There you go.
So it's a I wouldn't say it's clutch. I don't know if it was absolutely necessary, but it will help. It kind of adds to the stomping that may or may not happen here. I mean, and Now, yeah, it's like, thank you, Max. A fail-safe. Now, the hilarious thing that's about to happen here, guys, because this is just how Warhammer works, is somehow Jim's only going to roll ones in close combat.
Yeah, so you're about to see. I'll hype it up. I'll be like, he's going to smash. He's going to wreck. He's going to crush. So the Khorne Demon Prince, is he rolling now in combat?
Khorne Demon Prince is now rolling.
Here we go. You're going to see immediately the
all
reaction.
attacks hit.
Okay.
All attacks have hit. You can see them right here, books. These are the dice. We don't do dice trays here.
It's boring.
He did. So he's rolling to wound. It looks like 6d6 damage have gone through.
6d6 have gone through. 6 ones. Here we go.
Yeah, we're just going to wait and see.
27 damage.
Yeah, so after 27 damage so far, there are more dice.
There are more dice to go.
Yes. So Eric has spent another command. So apparently the knight exploded. It sounds like it exploded again.
The knight exploded again. Wow. So he spent the command point to make the knight.
He did spend the command point to make it explode again.
Again.
It killed the Khorne Demon Prince.
Killed the Demon Prince.
Does
it kill the rest of the Demon Princes here? So there's fusion reactors.
He looks like he rolled about a 1 for the mortal wounds, rolled it into a 2. So this guy now has 3 wounds remaining from the explosion.
And do you know what? Eric might have comfortably played for this trade and would be happy about that. But because he's got no board control, because he doesn't have enough bodies, the ability to deep strike the Bloodletters and also the Pink Horrors here has just meant that Jim has still just locked down the board.
For sure.
There we go. Boom. So he lost 2 of the Demon Princes. No, 1 of the Demon Princes. There we go. That Khorne Bloodthirster. Not Bloodthirster. Demon Prince of Khorne. I don't want to say he cares not, because I hate it when people say that. But
no, for sure.
He does care not. And you can finish the sentence off at home. Everyone in the chat very happy about that.
Yeah. So Eric spent all but 1 of his CP doing all that. He did manage to bring this Demon Prince, I'm told, down to 2 wounds, and this one is down to 3. But he lost just about 1,000 points of his army, and we still haven't done the combat up here. Can we get a camera up there?
Of course
to see
we can, boss man.
The
no problem. Can we all just
do
a big shout out to the Falcon doing this coverage, because crushing it. Mortar dead. That's right. There's a demon summon from the warp with Hellfire swords, and they are absolutely going to burn through a couple of lads and their thud guns.
What's wrong with my arrows? You please tell me what is wrong with my arrows.
Those arrows are
There's
perfect.
absolutely nothing
How dare
wrong
you,
with
sir?
this.
How dare
Nothing
you?
wrong
We
with
are
that.
professional
We have
sports
never done
commentators.
anything like
This
that.
is the most professional stream you'll watch today, at least.
Yes.
I can
Shots
roll
fired.
for us. Good play. Yeah.
Shots fired, sir.
Shots fired. I don't know why you're giving us Chip. We're trying to bring you some good Warhammer coverage. You guys should be like, oh, cheers, man. Then what are you all up to while we're doing this? Painting, hanging out, got some beers, feet up. You having some tidbits? Are you somewhere else? I don't know. Also, if you'd like to join us for Age of Sigmar coverage next weekend, those Wargaming team are going to be in Nashville, bringing you an Age of Sigmar tournament.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to watch.
That's rude. That's so rude. That is rude. Both game systems are great.
Sure. Except you ruined Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
I didn't. I'd also like to shout out again. I've done it 1,000 times, but I think I need to get Darren running this, the Canhammer man himself, having us here to do this. I've had an amazing weekend because of him. So I want to say thank you, and obviously everyone else who's helped with the show has been great. Yeah, he's a nice man, but he feeds me Chinese food that almost gave me a stroke.
So I believe the Bloodletters are done attacking. They killed 6 of the infantry. They split attacks. 6 of the infantry squad that were up or hiding underneath behind that wall have been killed, and 3 of the mortars have been pulled from the 6.
And the leadership checks are going to happen now as well there for that little
sure.
infantry squad. So they're gone. Another infantry squad over here. There is now. Don't forget, Eric's been very smart. He's put 2 power units in reserve.
Yes.
But not only a full 10 infantry squad, 10 men infantry squad, a company commander.
And in any other game, it's a slick play. In this game, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to accomplish.
They'll be able to commit really hard, I think, to... thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Mark LeBlue, for the beautiful commentary. So Jim has actually spent 3 more CP, I believe, so he can fight again with the Bloodletters.
Yeah, makes
at
sense.
The end. Well, that's what he's saying. Oh, You know what? Max has told me he changed his mind. Max is just full of good information. Thank you again, Max, for everything you've done this game, keeping us up to date.
So he's decided not to attack again.
He changed his mind. He wants to save the CP just in case.
So and we're still not forgetting, like that Bloodthirster Corn dead. Cool. 2 knights dead. It's a good trade.
Yes.
Absolutely. But there is still another big fat boy here, and he's not scared of fighting.
He isn't, but... So we're moving into Eric's turn 2. What a devastating turn. Well, how is Eric going to turn this around, do you think? Is he able to turn this around?
It's a great question. One of the tricks I like to use sometimes is just turn around to where my opponent is and just give him the biggest dead leg. Do you guys call it what's a Charlie horse? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, a Charlie horse, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's a strategy that doesn't often work, but, you could try.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, it does. Apparently, Max has changed his mind. Jim, once again, has decided before Eric goes, I'm going to fight again. I'm going to spend the CP because, you know what? Get wrecked. Yes. So hilariously, some giant fan has started. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Probably not because these mics are $1 million.
Oh, I thought it was raining.
It is raining.
It's raining. It's raining.
And it's
right
raining so
now,
hard that we
from
can
the sky,
feel it.
Tears from heaven at what has just happened to those knights.
Yeah, so can we just get a quick look here before we cut to Val? I believe Val has some updates for us from the other top tables. But let's just see what remains. And once that fight phase is over, we will cut to Val while Eric kind of thinks through his second turn.
There we go. So those mortars going is going to be good. The infantry squad finally. And then with the basilisk tied up, the only real unit on the tabletop that Eric has to bear is the one knight. That's the only unit he has to do anything with.
I mean, he has one basilisk that can do something, and he has one knight, and that's essentially it, other than that infantry squad and company commander. But you never know.
That's a 1-turn win, by the way. That was Eric.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially, yes.
It was 2 turns, but it was really everything happened in one.
Yeah, 1 turn, an absolute smushing, which is really... So there's also in here a tank commander and the
company commander.
Sorry.
Even better.
Why do I keep doing
because
that?
tank commanders are better, except for the movement, which makes company commanders stupid. Anyway.
Tank commander is still a human being inside a tank.
He really is.
That's what he really is.
But if he was a human being that was a tank, Scrivo's
he'd
lost
be a
it.
dreadnought. I think he'd be. That's a
it was
dreadnought.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, that's a train. That's a train. There we go. 2 mortars have been. Can I just say it? Because I haven't done it.
Yeah, you do
now
it.
I'm going to pick up my Canadian term. Lifted. He's lifted 3 mortars.
He has lifted
and
3
the
mortars.
infantry squad. It's been good.
So that appears to be it for this little squad back here. Jim.
So should we go to the man who lifts our spirits and our hearts?
Yes. Let's cut to see what's actually going on with the rest of this fine event. Go, Val.
Hey, everybody. Val Heffling. Here at CCBB, Capital City Bloodbath. I can't speak English anymore. I'm toast. I'm done. I could barely do this when I first got here. I'm going to throw this microphone on the ground. There's all these games going on. People are like, Val, you got to talk to me. You got to do this. You got to track these stats. Hey, why don't you know what these units are called? I don't know. I just got a nice shirt. Okay? Anyway, let's hurry up. Eric Truck, currently the only other undefeated player in the field. Well, hasn't lost. Diogo Pita is sitting on 1 draw. They're on table 2. It's looking a little rough for the Mono Faction Custodies right now. Just to recap, he's running 11 Aquilon Terminators with the Fire Pikes, about 9 Custodian Guard, Vixilla, Trahan, and a Shield Cap. Right now, already dead. We've lost a unit of the Aquilon Terminators, at least 2 units of Custodians, the Shield Cap, lots of planes alive. Diogo with a lot of board control right now. So we'll see. That's the highest death toll I've seen for Eric this entire tournament. He's crafty. Diogo, it's Portuguese. We'll see what goes down. I don't know. Elsewhere, Pamps is absolutely putting the boots down to delightful Tim Dietlifs. Hopefully, if that one goes fast, we'll get Tim and Pamps over here. But it's going to be a big score probably for Pamprine. The 2 of those guys would be the highest scoring 1-loss players right now in the tournament. And then over with Jason Sparks and Scary. Scary we saw on stream. He was running 6 Venoms, 3 Ravagers, a Homunculus Coven's battalion with 3 units of Rax, 3 Talos, as well as an Outrider with 3 Reavers and 4 time as the Haywire Scourges. So 4 Haywire Scourges. Jason Sparks, I don't know if I've ever actually said his list. It's an Imperium list. Looks cool as heck. Jason Sparks, he's got 2 units of 3 aggressors with the Bolt, Firestorm, Gauntlet things. Yeah, I'm sure you know what it's called. I don't. T-Fire Thunder Cannon, 3 Repulsor Executioners, 2 Vindicares, an Evisor, and a Calexis, as well as, of course, Rebute Guillemot. He also seems to be well ahead. There's not a lot of Scary stuff left. Still halfway through battle round 2. He's way up on secondaries as well as primary. We'll see if the Archon can pull it off. That's it, I think, for... Oh, no, I'll keep going. Dan Platt. We've talked a lot about him. He drew the non-Caladius Custodes list in the house. It had 2 units of bikes, 1 with 5 bikes, 1 with 4, a Telemon, 2 Caladius would be the substantial units, the beef of that list. Still early going on that one. I guess they're taking their time. Dan Platt, of course, running Disco Lords. The Austin Wingfield Special, it's 3 Disco Lords. An Epitome, somewhere around 40 to 50 Plague Bearers. And then a couple extra characters. That's it for my updates right now. Tory Pete, actually, that was battling hard last round to try and go undefeated into round 6. He seems to be doing just okay versus a 3 knight list. That's about as far down the list I think that's worth going down. I suspect the top 3 will come out of the top 3 tables. So I think that's it for me for now. If there's anything you'd like to hear about, perhaps how I do my hair, why I'm so sweaty, and where I buy my shirts, ask Rob, because he's up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, members of the audience, thank you again to Mr. Val Heffelfinger there, bringing it up. We are back to this smasher of a game. Eric, who, by the way, as he's losing his models, is smiling more and more. I don't know if he needs a best friend, but I volunteer. He just seems like a treasure. And he's up against Jim. Jim actually is just chilling. I'm joined by Mr. Val Heffelfinger himself.
Oh,
how are you, Val?
I'm doing great.
That's good. I'm very happy. There's a bunch of people in the world who are checking us out right now. So thank you to you guys for joining us and listening.
Thanks, everybody.
You guys are wicked. This game, let me tell you, the Demon Princes, that were not Demon Princes, well, they were part of it. 2 Imperial Knights were here. The Khorne Demon Prince went in, smashed. I was after some smikes, and both of these knights exploded. Yeah? Right here, one there and one there. They just exploded. They projected their power here. They killed a Demon Prince. It was devastating.
That's tits.
What is a Disco Lord? We've been asked in the chat.
It's a Lord Discordant.
The Chaos Marine. I actually know the narrative for this.
Oh, that's good.
Tech Marines are actually normally a Space Marine isn't allowed. Thank you very much, Val Heffelfinger. Normally, a Space Marine isn't allowed the secrets of the Mechanicum, but they sometimes go and get trained to be a Tech Marine. There's also an evil version of that.
Yes.
And some of them become Lord Discordants, and they ride because machines have spirits in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. However,
I'm pretty
for
sure
Chaos,
it's just AI, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But for Chaos, they put demons inside of them. So imagine it's kind of like a psychic man, although he's not a psyker, who has taken control of a sentient spirit inside of a machine and then is riding it.
That is about as metal as you can possibly get.
It's so real. So we're going to move over to the tabletop here. What's happened in this game since you guys have been gone? Well, in Eric's turn, he has moved this knight a tad, and he's also brought his infantry squad down, but
not a whole lot's happened. He also brought down the Calidus Assassin, and he did roll relatively low on the roll. So I believe if we cut down here, you'll see it. And he thinks there's just enough space that if he gets a decent charge, he'll be able to possibly hit the Poxbringer or Ahriman here with her.
A nice cheeky kill of Ahriman would not hurt.
No, and really, talking to Eric there during the quick break while Val went over it, Eric's about 99% sure he's lost this match. He's really just playing for points, playing for love of the game, and trying to do cheeky things like this.
We also are 100% certain that he has lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, I believe everyone in the chat knows. Well, fun fact, Jim decided not to spend the CP to take the Forbidden Gem this game. So all these people asking when he's going to use it, he just isn't. Doesn't have it. Sorry, folks.
We were hyping it up the whole way.
Yeah, we hyped it up so bad because he's used it so much. This game, he was like, meh.
Yeah, but he decided not to. So with this game being affected, like, it's over.
At this point, really, yes. It's 100% over. He's got Eric's got 2 basilisks in the back. They're not going to be able to kill all this stuff.
So as executive producer of the show, I am actually going to say that would be all of the coverage that we're going to do of that game, because we've seen the plays, we know the result.
For sure.
The actual score, that you'll see will be able to be available on BCP, obviously.
For sure.
But with another game in contention. Custodes, hello everyone, welcome back. These are our faces. Look how gorgeous he is. With another game in contention, Custodes list of all things.
Yes, Custodes, mono Custodes, almost purely foot with the exception of one Jetbike captain. Eric Scriven's truck playing against Diogo, the Portuguese Pita, with an Eldar Flyer list.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Now, as Val has been saying, on the board, it doesn't look super good for Eric. Eric doesn't have a lot of models left. But that being said, Diogo does not have a lot of bodies on the ground.
But Eric's the only person contesting for the title, as we see it.
For sure.
So he's the only person on the same amount of wins as these two players. And obviously, Eric, who we just saw play against Jim, has lost. So really, it's only between Jim and Eric with the Custodes, who we haven't seen. And if he loses, then either way, we would have to wait hours to find out the result. Or you can find out later on BCP or the Canhammer page. 40k Stat Show will do a post, I'm almost certain, and we could even bring you a little cheeky message later to talk about it. Maybe even
100%.
an interview with the winner.
I do think Val wants to give us one last update though before we cut.
He does not.
No.
He's got nothing. Yeah. Well, because there's nothing happening, Mr. Heffelfinger. We can, but it would be later. We'll do it as a VOD. Yeah, otherwise we're waiting hours. We're lifting models, and that's not entertaining for the crowd, I don't think.
So, guys, we're going to give you one last update from Val, and then we'll cut.
We can do a walkthrough. We can follow you on a camera.
And then what we'll do, and then after that, we'll cut, and then once we've cut, we will come back a little bit later for an interview with the eventual winners, whether it be Eric or Jim.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, for talking to us. It's been a pleasure, Falcon. You're an angel. This is also Max Dubois, our table boss, a legend in his own right. Yeah, he's done well. Look at that. This is what top tier professional T-Sports commentary looks like. Be scared.
Physical performance.
So let's go over to Val.
Let's cut over to Val.
Okay, I think Scrivo's trying to find me with the camera. Currently, I'm live table side with Diogo and Eric Truck. This, of course, is Custodes versus a whole lot of Eldaria Flyers and some Vipers. Not even close. Venoms. Come on, Hef. This is your last hurrah. This is the last time I'm going to be talking to you guys. Let's get something right. So the way I'm seeing it right here, Diogo's got about 8 secondary points right now to Eric's 4. He's also leading slightly on primary. But we don't know who's going to kill more and hold more here in turn 3. Still lots to be decided. Eric's got a lot of moves, so I don't think we can count him out just yet. The Jim Vessel win on the top table, of course, is exactly what Eric would need. Eric Marco, of course, being uncatchable for him with a win. So hopefully that plays out. Stephen Pamprine and Tim Dietlevs down here on table 3. Potentially a third-place winner here, depending on how things fall out of the top 2 tables. But it's probably going to be a big point win, high 30s or so for Steven. He's just stringing along Tim right now, trying to maximize his points. So that's kind of where it stands. Eric battling as hard as he can for every point he can get. And Pamps just cushioning everything he can do. So if that's everything, I don't know where the camera's pointing. And I will maybe just come over here And Scrivo will race back to the table, and I'm going to hold up this man right here.
I don't know if he's on, I don't know if the shot is on us yet, but
Shots on us now. This is Rob in the flesh. Rob, as we're winding this down, I just want to thank you for letting me stumble and bumble my way around this hall.
Oh, no, you are comedy gold in my opinion. You've done great, and also can we talk about the Falcon a minute? What an impressively talented man!
As
this is your street team. Scrivo, come in.
He's got a lot of forearm. Yeah,
Get
get everyone here. Everyone here.
Let's
Team
have a
photo.
debrief. Let's do a live debrief.
All right. All right, so I'm going to interview the stream team here. You got the X's. Okay, Max, what was your favorite moments of the weekend?
Definitely the Timbits. But far and large, I think everybody can agree that I was MVP of the Timbits.
You ate a lot of Timbits.
They were just there.
Now, I don't know if the folks at home know, but both Scrivo and Robbo had Dairy Queen for the first time yesterday. Score blizzards for the both of them. What did you think?
I basically thought I was going to die because I was shaking.
Brilliant.
I had heart palpitations, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, which I have few of left.
If he has another heartbeat, it might be another blizzard for Rob. Falcon, you've outshined us all.
I don't think that's 100% true.
You are a bright star in the sky of competitive 40K.
My favorite moment was definitely working with Val Heffelfinger. I've never met this man in person. He looks like an absolute solid 10 out of 10. I've only ever seen this man do sit-ups and push-ups between the games.
He doesn't know how to deal with compliments, so I'm just going to keep at it. The beard is really well trimmed, even, and balanced, much like his coverage. Thank you so much to the 100 and whatever amount of people that are out there. Thousands. Max doesn't know how to count, but it's fine. We won't tell him. From CCBB 2019 in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, we're signing off. Thank you so much.
Yep. Come back for the interviews, folks. Bye-bye.